Welcome back to How You Slice It, everybody. Today, we have a very special guest you may have come across. I am actually confident you've come across his social media content and presence. You may know Salvatore Mand. Help me out with that, Sal.
Mandreucci.
Mandreucci, better known as Sally Slices, on the How You Slice It podcast. Created by, we have a lot of slice here today. We're going to slice it up. Sal is the CEO of Inspiration, as he says, and he's one of the most famous pizzaiolas in the world, with about 5 million, and I'm sure growing very fast, collective followers across social media, which we'll get into. How did he get so famous? I think today you'll learn about the secret sauce to connecting with your audience, and how Marcello's Pizza and Grill really witnessed a lot of growth as a result of your commitment to social media. I also want to learn more about the famous Corleone, but we'll get to that in a moment. Welcome to How You Slice It, Sal. I'm really excited.
Thank you for having me, Ilir. I'm excited. Let's get into it, man.
You know, you work at your father's shop, Marcello's Pizza, in Hamilton, New Jersey, which is, I would say, southern part of New Jersey, correct?
Yes.
Central to south.
Central, southern, yeah.
Right. And walk me through, how did you get your start? At what age were you getting involved there? Tell me more about your family history.
Beautiful. So we'll start from a Don, Marcello. So my father came here when he was 16 from Perini, Sicily. It's right outside of Palermo. And he didn't know a lick of English. My dad always told me, I thought I was going to come to America and everybody's going to be speaking Italian, but that wasn't the case. So he got here and he worked 24/7 at my Uncle Tom's place in Edison. And every single penny he made, he sent back to my Nonna and Carini. They were a very poor family. And, my father really instilled that in me and my sisters at a young age, that family really is all through and through what matters in life. No matter what you're doing, no matter how big it is, the family always comes first. So my father came here, and like I said, every penny he made, he would send straight back to Carini. And he kept saving his money, and he opened up his first pizzeria in Carteret, Bella's Pizza. This is probably sometime in the late 90s, early 80s. Then he had that establishment, and he moved to a place that he was very, very famously known for, Marcello's in Bordentown. It's about 15 minutes away from our location, 20 minutes now, but he's the original owner of Marcello's in Bordentown. So my dad slowly learned the language, never stopped working. He met my beautiful mother, Margaret. She's Irish and American. And they fell in love. Boom, Slices came out. And now I'm here with two amazing sisters. And to me, how I got into pizzeria, I'm going to be honest with you, Ilir. I was a knucklehead kid. I didn't want to work. I didn't want to do nothing. I didn't want to think of work. All I liked to do was, when I from like 14 to 18, I just wanted to go out and party. You know, you're still under the age to drink. So if you go to a party, there's some liquor, you feel like a tough guy, you drink with your friends. All I cared about was the weekend. I was not good in school. I did not fit in school. I was in all special ed classes. I couldn't focus. I had really bad ADHD. But growing up, it was a big challenge for me because I was still discovering myself. I feel like everybody around me knew what they wanted to do and who they were. I had no idea. So I started the pizzeria when I was like 17, delivering in my Ford Contour, my 97 Contour. Beautiful. I'll never forget that car, man. I started delivering in it. And little by little, I went to the kitchen. I started cleaning dishes, doing dressings. My sister was working there before me, guided me. She was a super big help. And one day I told my dad when I was around 18, I was like, I want to learn how to make pizza. I was like, that's where the fun is. The dough feels good. Before you start making pizza, you think it's so cool because the dough's so soft. I started making pizza. I got really good at it like that. I got super
natural.
Yeah. So I started making a pizza, and I realized this isn't so fun anymore. It was crazy. Fridays at the pizzeria, it's unbelievable. So I slowly started to learn the value of work. So I told myself, I might not know what I want to do, but I know from my father really working his ass off and watching him work in the pizzeria, you have to work hard if you really want to make something of yourself. There's no shortcuts in anything. I'm really lucky that I found that out at 18 and I started making pizzas, and that's how I got into the shop later.
My grandfather would say that to me all the time. My grandfather worked at a pizza shop in Manhattan in 1975.
I read that about, yeah, I read that.
Yeah. And then more recently in the early 2000s, my grandfather, my uncle ran a shop in Brooklyn called John Anthony's. And then my grandfather got a little bit older and he couldn't really work as much anymore. And as a young kid, we're going in and helping out, doing deliveries, whatever. And regardless of what job we were doing, my grandfather would say, I don't know that you realize how lucky you are that you actually get to work. And that has always stuck with me. And I completely agree. There is no substitute for hard work.
No, I mean, your grandfather was right. I mean, it is a blessing every day. And I feel like in especially my generation, a little bit of my generation and all the ones below me, it's like, you got the opportunity, you have a roof over. Like, I didn't see it this way when I was a punk kid though. Like, you have a roof, you have food, and like the world is yours. Like, you could do whatever you want. Like, you could literally dictate your life. But a lot of kids, and I blame this generation and this world as it is nowadays, it's very comforting. People want you to abide by the rules. They want you to work the 9 to 5. They want you to, in a sense, become a slave to the dollar. Okay? There's nothing wrong with college. I just never liked school. I think college is a beautiful route if you know specifically what you want to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
If you're in a situation where you go to college and you want to switch this major 2 years in, you want to switch that, you have to take more. You start even psyching yourself out more because you really feel like you don't know what you want to do when it's right here. Everybody has a purpose in life. You know what I'm saying? So the privilege, the fact that we have the opportunity to wake up, have the opportunity to go to work, the world is yours. It's a matter of mindset.
I couldn't agree more. You touched on it a little bit, but for a lot of the aspiring operators, how would you describe a Friday night at a pizza shop?
A Friday night at a pizza shop. It's a Friday night at a pizza shop. It's like you feel like you are alone in this big pizza station. Say you're a pizza man, and the tickets are coming out like Santa Claus gets on Christmas. Like, they don't stop. You feel it's like a war zone, but it's a good rush. You know what I mean? Because you don't really realize how fast the time is going when you're nonstop moving. You know what I mean? And it took me a little bit to realize this when I was getting into work. I was like, the lunch rush is 4 to 8. I was like, that's 4 hours. Boom, 8 o'clock. I was like, what, 8 o'clock?
Time flies.
You don't stop moving. And the bad thing is, our pizza station, the counter is down here. So when I stand up, I have to lean over. Every night I come home from work, I get a nice hot bag and I put it on my back.
Yeah. I put out a tweet recently. I said, hey, every person that complains about an order being 5 minutes late on a Friday night should go and work at a pizza shop on a Friday night.
That's a beautiful tweet, Ilir. I couldn't agree more.
Tell me more about the Corleone. How did that come to be?
Okay, so the Corleone is a recipe all the way back from when my father was 5 years old in the piazza. He used to be a hair cutter. He used to cut hair at 5.
Yep.
My dad came out of the womb. He said, I'm going to work. God bless him, right? So he started cutting hair. And every Sunday in the piazza, an old man from Corleone, the town over, would come to the piazza in an old school wagon. He described it to me and everything. And he would sell the Corleone. And my dad loved this pizza. Like, loved it. And this old man, who was the founder of the recipe, actually started noticing my dad always there. Like, he would leave his work for 10 minutes, run and go back, and doesn't care. The pizza was that good. So him and my dad built a rapport, and 40 years went by, and me and my mom and my dad went back to Sicily to try and find the old man. And we found him right away. The old man was still alive, God bless him, knew who my father was. They started talking, and my dad goes, "Whatever happened to that pizza?" He goes, "The Corleone. It's, my family still makes them, holidays."
Yeah.
He goes, bringing it to America would be something crazy." He goes, "You know what, Marcello? I'm going to give you the recipe, and the only thing I want you to do is not sell it until I pass in America."
Wow.
So my dad got the recipe. When we were there, we figured we're going to patent. My dad got that recipe patent from the mayor of Corleone. Nobody could name it to Corleone. Nobody could touch it. So we went back to the States. God willing, the old man passed about a year later. And we started selling the Corleone in his name. And we started about 8-9 years ago. We started selling the Corleone.
To the extent you can share, describe the Corleone.
Corleone, if you look at it, it looks like a Sicilian, but it is day and night. It is by no means a Sicilian. It's a rectangle. It's cut in 8. It has the most beautiful sauce. When you taste this pizza, it's not too sweet. It's not too potent. It's perfect sauce. The dough, when you bite into it, it's like you're biting a cracker. It's so light. It's like it's thick, but it's light. A lot of people that come in, it's a repeating occurrence. They say it's so airy to dough. I feel like I ate 4 slices. I feel like I eat a whole pie. I was like, that's the beauty of the Corleone. And like people are coming from all over the world. At first, it was the States. People come from California, Michigan, Iowa, Ohio. Now people are coming from Bayern. People are coming from Australia, New Zealand. It's unbelievable.
I want to try it right now.
You gotta come by, man.
I will absolutely come by. And
you can talk to my old school father about having slice over there because we ran into this problem before, but he's old school. You know what I mean?
We'll have a good conversation. I have no concerns about that, but I will come by. And before we get to, I want to talk about your social media and the audience you've built. For people who want to try the Corleone, what's the address of the shop? How do they get there?
The address is 45 George Dye Road, DYE Road in Hamilton, New Jersey.
Awesome. I hope people will swing by and take a ride and try it out. I remember it was, I would say now maybe like 2 years ago, I may be off a little bit on time, when one day my phone blew up because everybody knows me and knows my history in pizza and obviously the business history. And each individual didn't know that they were reaching out to me, but they were all reaching out to me at the same time, sharing your video on TikTok, your famous Sally Slices video.
The
first one, the breakout. Walk me through how that one, by the way, describe it. I can, but I think for those who haven't watched it, give people a glimpse into what that video means to you and like how did you come up with it?
So from the luck of having such talented friends, my friend Patrick Virgie and Dominic Gatto, you spoke to Dominic in the past.
I did, yeah.
They are very, very witty with the film. They don't have the best cameras, but they have a good camera and they could film anything. So when I was starting to blow up, the big plan and my message I was getting across was taking down Big Pizza, the fake bowl. You know what I mean? The fake stuff, Papa John, Domino's, Little C, all that garbage. The reason for that video was to be like Rocky, like the underdog, taking on these big corporation pizzas and delivering justice and good homemade mom and pop pizza to the community. So I'll never forget it, man. We were in Philly for a whole day. We shot it. We had a great time. The feeling that we had people like stopping on the side of the road asking us, "What are you shooting?" Because it looked so great. And it was definitely a great, for my first video that ever went really, really big. I wouldn't want it to be any other video than that video because it shows the wholesome and sentimental part of my brand that I want to instill in every part that I do. It was awesome, Ilir. Awesome.
It's one of my favorite videos. I think it'll be a great video for decades. It's one of those pieces of content that will be relevant regardless of whether it's 1980 or 2050. and
Exactly.
and the authenticity that came across was awesome, and you were great in it. So strongly recommend for anyone to go and just follow Sally Slices. You'll see the video. You can't miss it. It's awesome. And then walk me through, what happens from there. You continue to build your following. Would love to also learn more about what you said before we started recording, sort of your philosophy on social media. But yeah, how did you continue from there? Like, it's tough to top that.
It is, yeah, it was very difficult too, but our mindset going into these little production videos that we make was to never expect anything. That's kind of because we released the first video we ever released was the Rocky video. I don't know if you ever saw it. And it was brilliant, but it didn't get the attention we wanted to. And we were kind of let down and discouraged. So we all spoke together and I said, listen, from what we make from now on, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's just make the stuff and put it out. You know what I mean? So it was very hard to top that. The whole plan for that video was that I was actually going to vacuum seal the Corleone and ship them. Me and my family did it for about a week at the pizzeria, but the volume and quantity of orders that we got, we stood no chance. We went through maybe a quarter of the orders. I think it was like we got 1,400 orders in 1 week.
Wow.
It was crazy. It was me with the dream. You had me and my mom driving from the pizzeria to the post office after we, manufactured them legally, put the ingredient facts on it, walk through the whole thing. We just back and forth all day, and we weren't even putting a dent in the demand.
Wow.
So it was an experience learned, but I traveled out to Chicago about a month ago with my father, and we found a place called Taste of Chicago. And they're very interested in the Corleone. We showed them how to make it. They can manufacture it and distribute it. So what comes around goes around. We failed doing it on our own, but now if we have help, it's supposed to release in January. But, stuff like this takes a little bit more time. So sometime in the beginning of next year, we're going to come back strong, and we're going to take that back over.
I can't wait for that. And I'm guessing that'll be available in like supermarkets.
So that's a great question. So first, what we're going to do is have a link and then let people just order them straight to that link.
And that'll be sort of shipped directly to them.
Shipped directly to them, exactly.
Yeah.
So we're planning on doing packs of 2 and packs of 4. We're going through Gold Belly. The supermarket stuff I would love to do after I see the analytics of the online order. I want to see how good it is, how, if it did improve on it, and then eventually go into supermarkets. But that's the plan.
Amazing. And really excited for you. Congratulations. We can talk after, and if there's any way we can help, we'd love to do that. How has social media helped the business beyond the Corleone sort of not frozen, but like the direct to consumer business? How has it helped the pizza shop itself? What is the before and after?
The before and after is normal to out of the water. Once I solidified myself as the pizza TikTok guy, Ilir, I shit you not. We have people coming at all times of the day from different parts of the state, different parts of the country. At times they come in, it's like they call each other at the same time, they're coming at once. The beauty of it is I get to meet so many amazing people. And I say to myself every day, without these amazing supporters, there'd be no Sally Slices. So every single customer that comes to visit me, it truly makes a mark on my heart. And it's blown profits, but besides all the profits and everything, it's made me really understand, back to what I was saying, is the value of social media. It's unbelievable.
What is your advice to people or operators, owners who want to invest in that platform? Because I think my biggest lesson in talking to you and talking to other people who have really unlocked social media is you are yourself, you're authentic, you say what you feel, and you're not afraid to do that in front of a camera or in front of a TikTok post or whatever it may be. Provide some advice for people who may want to dip their toes in social media, if not go all in. What is some advice you have for folks?
I think that you started off great. Being yourself and truly showing a natural part of you and not being afraid to embrace it. My whole life, everybody told me, Sal, you should go into play. You should go do. So I'm not doing the play. I'm a lacrosse player. What business I'm doing to play? You should do this. You should do that. It took my ego to take a step back and to actually do it. I started posting. I didn't want to at first because I was still, iffy about it. But after a week, when I realized that this is my passion and I love entertaining people, it takes doing it. Just being yourself, having charisma, and posting videos on what you do every day. What could possibly go wrong? You know how many the first 5 months of TikTok, I had so many haters, but then again, I had so many supporters. And my mom always told me, Sal, when you start, there's gonna be a lot of haters, it's gonna be a lot of obstacles. I said, I don't give a shit what these people say. But the ego, that's what I'm saying. Like the ego and yourself, you're two different people. I don't care. But this guy does. So It took a little bit to warm my ego up to it. Now, the way I look at it is everybody who hates on what I do, they're adding to the algorithm. They're adding to the interaction with the video. They're doing me a favor. So if I can, I want more haters to comment on my videos.
That's really well said. But at the end of the day, if you don't have a really loud audience on either side, that means you're probably playing it too safe. That means you're probably trying to say what people want to hear.
Yes.
But what I've learned is authenticity creates very passionate audiences on both sides of the spectrum. That means you're doing it right. And it's impossible to obviously please everybody, especially when you put yourself out there consistently every single day, every single week. Yes. What's the vision for Sally Slices? And then I'd love to zoom in a little bit more and learn more about what you want to accomplish for the pizza shop or the business.
So I think the mission for Sally Slices is already completed. I got a lot of people who DM me, they're going through really rough times, and I answer as many as I can. And I have people who message me saying I changed their life, comment nonstop. And just that alone, when somebody tells you it, you don't really understand that, you're changing somebody's life. When you really ground yourself and understand the impact you have on all these people, that is the mission done for me. I have dreams that I'm also chasing, but the mission for Sally Slices as a man, it's already done.
What are the dreams you're chasing?
I want to be a big actor. I'm on my road to doing it. We just had a meeting with the Nassau Film Festival owner in Princeton. He really is interested. My cinematographer, Syndicate Films. Vinny's out of this world. He's super talented. We found each other. We became best friends. I made a lot of cinematic short skits that I pinned on my profile. But we're writing a short film for this festival. And I have no doubt we'll blow everything out of the water. And it'll move to the next film festival, then the next. Ultimately, my goal is to get, on Hulu and Netflix, which will happen. It's only a matter of time. The Oscars will come later, but for now, I got to focus on Hulu and Netflix.
Well, one step at a time. I was going to say it'll be fun to watch you on a film that's being either launched on Netflix. But what if you have the first ever film movie that's launched on YouTube or a platform that isn't necessarily today synonymous with watching film, but perhaps wants to go in that direction.
That's a brilliant pointer because like we said, social media rules the world.
Exactly.
Movie theaters are going to go out of business soon.
I agree with you.
I honestly think that all this trap with Amazon, with Netflix, Hulu, HBO, people don't gotta go out anymore. Go out for popcorn. You get the popcorn and ShopRite. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So definitely adapting to the whole social media aspect when it comes to film is something we're going to 100% tackle. And I have no doubts we'll make the best of it.
I have no doubts as well. What about for the shop, for the business?
For the business, the first thing is obviously, I want to keep bettering the pizzeria in any way I can. I think that my mission for the pizzeria, it's not over, but it's steady and it's beautiful. It's doing what it has to do. I want to, I really want to hit a milestone to get my dad out of there, but I have a feeling even if I do, my dad loves the business too much. He's going to stay in there. I'm going to have to get a crowbar to get him out, but I'm just trying to, change the ones I love around me. I'm trying to make their life a little bit better. So I think with the pizzeria, it's steady, it's good, but I have other missions with my parents and my sisters.
You mentioned, and by the way, your dad is not alone in this, and they have a lot of reasons to be very skeptical of changing technologies or environments. Your dad is old school, does not want to implement technology or dabble too much with things that, it's, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly.
What would be your advice if that wasn't your dad and you were going there and talking to him about adapting? What would be your advice to an old school pizza operator when it comes to technology?
This is it. You're not going to get the same if you really tackle social media and you put all in for a couple months. The progress you're going to get from that is way more beneficial than any progress you could do on your own. Here, you might have loyal customers, but the world keeps spinning, man. You gotta keep attracting new people because they aren't the only place.
That's right. That's right. Anything else you want to share with the audience? I think this was super helpful. I love your advice on putting yourself out there. Love your advice on adapting. What is the one last thing you would leave the audience with? And again, this is mostly pizzeria operators and owners.
Listen, start. If it has to be TikTok, start on TikTok. Post 3 times a day.
3 times a day.
Something funny. Start with 3 times a day. Be different, but also be yourself. And give social media a real shot until you paint a picture of it falsely in your head. Really give it a shot. And you might find that you enjoy it more than you thought you would.
I love it. Awesome. Thank you so much for your time today. This was super insightful. Can't wait to come by. I'll try and do that maybe this weekend coming up. And good luck in your continued sort of success, but also can't wait to watch you on Netflix or YouTube, or when you accept an Oscar, I'll look back to this conversation and say, hey, I know that guy.
Mr. Ilir, you're a pleasure. You're a blessing, brother. Thank you for having me on today, man.